Hi guys, good afternoon and welcome to Create Incubator. And for those of you who have not met me or who don't know me, my name is Janeeth Rodrigo, and I have been, apart from other things such as earning a living, I have been helping creators and YouTubers in Sri Lanka for the last 6 to 7 years. I started this thing called Idea Hell, which we are live streaming from today, which has given birth to a lot of YouTubers. So my background is in coaching YouTubers. And in this session, since this is for Create Incubator, I thought I will start from the basics of how you can start your YouTube channel. But before we go into how you can start your YouTube channel, I think it's important to add a word about this program, Create Incubator. I think at this juncture in our country, something like this is quite timely. And for those who have applied and who've become a part of this program, I think this is an amazing step that you have taken. And it's my earnest wish that this is the first of many steps that you take towards content creation. Because to be honest, for me personally, I think as Sri Lankans, especially with the situation in our country, I think there's a lot of creativity that we have in this country that we have completely not tapped into. And also because of the lack of resources and the lack of planning and the lack of infrastructure in this country, we have created artificial barriers for you guys to become content creators. So I think programs like this, like Create Incubator, would hopefully be the stepping stone for some of you guys to become full-time content creators and bringing the much needed dollar revenue that as a country we need. Right, let's get down to it. So before we talk about how to start your YouTube channel, it's important to understand what this whole YouTube monetization is. A small disclaimer, some of this content might be repetitive to some of you who have been a part of my workshops, or those who follow me on YouTube and watch my videos on my YouTube channel. Some of this might be repetitive, but it's only fair that I touch upon the basics, especially since this is the first workshop of Create Incubator, right? Okay, so looking at my slide, it just says, what is YouTube monetization? So it's important to understand what monetization is, because for me as an individual, when I talk to creators, one major thing that I have understood is that no form of art, no form of creativity can be sustained or can be started without a form of revenue. Whether we like it or not, we live in a capitalistic world and money is important, right? And money is important, especially for content creation. So what is this YouTube monetization? How YouTube monetization happens, and how do you get revenue from it? It's not a pyramid scheme for some of those conspiracy theorists out there. There is a actual method into how you earn money from YouTube. So I will just explain in simple terms how YouTube monetization happens, what you need to do to be eligible for YouTube monetization, right? So if you look at my slide, there are two key factors that are important for you to be enrolled into this program called YPP. YPP stands for the YouTube Partner Program. So YPP is a program that YouTube generally rolls out from country to country. And as most of you are aware, thankfully, Sri Lanka currently has YPP, and a creator from Sri Lanka can do content, upload videos on YouTube, put their Sri Lankan bank account details and get the money to their bank account. This was not possible some years ago. We had to go through an MCN, try barely legal methods to get this money, but right now we have YPP, so that's an amazing thing. So to be eligible to start monetizing on your YouTube channel, you need to meet these two criteria. One is that you have to be in a country that is YPP enabled, and number two, you must reach 4,000 watch hours and 1,000 subscribers. Now 1000 subscribers is quite straightforward for most of you. It's that subscriber count. You must get 1000 people to click that subscriber button. Now this 4000 watch hours is a bit of a little confusing to most who start out, but once you get into your YouTube content creation journey, it won't be such a mystery, right? So for a layman to understand, 4000 watch hours can be achieved, right, if you upload videos regularly, right, and you get about 10,000 views on your videos. In about 6 to 7 months, you should be able to hit this 4000 watch hour mark. I guess that's clear, right? I'm oversimplifying this, but if you just upload regular content for 7 months, and after a certain point you start getting about 10,000 views on each of those videos, you can hit that threshold of 4000 watch hours in about 7 months, right? So once that's done, it's over. Every time you upload a YouTube video, you will get monetization, right? What is this monetization? How does money come to your bank account, right? It's very simple. If you look at my slide right now that you're seeing on your screen, there are multiple modes of advertisements that you see on YouTube when you're watching a video. The most annoying one that people generally curse, the skippable and the non-skippable ads. As soon as you click a video, you get that skippable or non-skippable ad. Please do not curse, because that's how your YouTuber, that the content of whom you're watching, gets money. So patiently watch that video. That's part of the YouTube ad ecosystem, right? So for that ad to be displayed in front of your YouTube video, an advertiser has paid YouTube, right? It's a no-brainer. Some advertiser has paid YouTube to show that ad in front of a certain video. So what YouTube does is, being a good platform, it gives a portion of that revenue to that original content creator. So that is what you call YouTube monetization, right? So that's in a very simplistic form. All these ads are not made equal. You must have heard some of these big YouTubers talk about high CPR ads, high CPM ads, likewise. So some, especially these skippable ads, usually give us more revenue than other ads. But for you as a creator, all you have to focus on is hitting that threshold where you can apply for YPP, and after that your monetization journey starts. Right, now we get to the fun part. Now some of you might be content creators or YouTubers who have already started their journey, and some of you might be creators who are starting out, or you have a plan of starting your YouTube channel. Don't focus on my slide right now, just listen to what I am saying, right? Even if you have your own YouTube channel, right? Even if you have your own YouTube channel, do this exercise, because I have found out a lot of YouTubers, a lot of content creators burn out, or they stop content creation because they have started their YouTube channel without a lot of focus, right? So after doing this for a multitude of times, just to make my life easy, because most of the time I get creators, young creators, full of passion coming and saying, Janeeth, I want to start a YouTube channel. I can cook, I can travel, I love to sing. I'm going to put all of this content into one YouTube channel, and I'm going to start my YouTube content creation dream. I always advise them, do not do that, right? Just because you are capable of all of those things, in YouTube, generally, someone subscribes to a channel that is of a certain vertical or a genre. This is something a lot of people miss out on. So in order to get a creator's ball rolling, I have given this small exercise which you just saw in my slide, right, where I asked them to visualize their channel trailer. The channel trailer is a video that's no longer than 3 minutes, right, in which you must clearly and concisely explain 4 things, right? If you're listening, and obviously you will get a recorded version of this program, so you will have this later on, but if you're doing this exercise with me right now, it will be important just to jot this down, right? So in your channel trailer, you must communicate 4 things. Number 1, who you are. Now this must go beyond your name and what you are, right? who you are part of your channel trailer must introduce yourself to someone who has never met you, right? So in essence, this is your pitch. This is your pitch to your audience. Okay, I am Janeeth Rodrigo and I'm a likable person. You should subscribe to my content. So this who you are part is very important. For someone, like I said, this is an introduction to someone who has never met you on who you are. Number one. Number two, what kind of content are you going to upload? Now this is very important, right? A lot of YouTubers, especially in Sri Lanka, start out their content creation as part-time YouTubers. They have a full-time job, right? You guys heard from Chanel and Shehan, right? I mean, they were smart enough to quit. They were capable enough to quit their full-time jobs, right? But that is not a luxury that some of you might have, right? So remember this. When you're starting out, you might be a part-time YouTuber. So what kind of content you are going to upload on your channel? Very clearly communicating that to your audience helps you also realize, okay, with my current schedule, with my current job, with the current power cuts, how much content can I realistically upload, right? This part is very crucial. This is where you set what kind of genre of content. Like I said earlier, people subscribe on YouTube to genres, right? So what kind of genre and what kind of content you upload is to be communicated in this number two, part two of your channel trailer introduction. Number three, so you said who you are, what kind of content you're going to upload. And number three, the frequency of my uploads. This is very important. Sorry. This is very important, right? So in order to have a good, successful content creation journey and a successful YouTube channel, my recommendation is that you must upload at least one video a week. At least. If you can upload two, that's amazing. But you must at least upload one video a week. Again, I know that this is difficult, right? There are ways of doing this, right? Especially here at Idea Hell, we teach these tips and tricks, right? And you as an aspiring content creator will have to do these things. There are things like block shooting, scripting. You must always script your videos. You have to have a clear understanding of the next 5 videos that you're going to upload, right? And block shooting stands for when you just put down one Saturday of your month and shoot 4 videos for the rest of the month, right? Usually setting up cameras, setting up things, setting up lights, right? And dedicating a part of your day is easier once you set it up, like cameras, lights, especially, right? Once you set it up, churning out 3-4 videos is easy. Just change your t-shirt, change your outfit, and do 4 videos at a stretch. That's what I do on my channel, right? So block shoot, especially as you start your content creation journey. And the fourth thing, now I told you 3 things in the channel trailer that you need to include: who you are, what kind of content you will upload, the frequency of your uploads, and lastly, whom should subscribe. Now this is another important thing where you call out to your audience, right? Now tech YouTubers. There are so many tech YouTubers in Sri Lanka, but let's say your niche is to review drones. You're a drone guy, you love drones, you like anything that flies, right? So your tech niche is drone videos. So in your channel trailer, you must clearly communicate, hi guys, I'm so and so. This is the kind of content, tech content I'm gonna upload. I'm gonna upload every Thursday at 6 p.m. And if you love drones, if you like anything related to drones and flying and technology that flies, subscribe to my channel. So that part encompasses and encapsulates what your channel trailer should be. In my experience of doing this for the last 6 years, usually my creators get somewhat of an idea. They come with a lot of ideas, but this exercise helps them to zone in on what kind of content they can realistically do, and also what kind of content is viable, and also what kind of content might stand out from the rest of the pack, right? Okay, now you have planned your channel, you have kind of a focus, right? And my next channel, my next slide is to teach you how you can plan your content, right? This is very important. Again, after doing this for a long time, I have realized that, especially in Sri Lanka, I think it's a problem with our education system. We need things by the book. We need theories to understand certain concepts, right? sorry, right. So in view of this, I have put together a small concept, right, called Hero Hub Hygiene. I think if you have watched any of my content before, you might be acutely aware of how much I harp on this, but I must take you through it in this session as well, right? So the camera can focus on me. So Hero Hub Hygiene is a concept that was developed for brands, right? But I'm giving you this theory so that you can apply it to your YouTube channel, right? Before we go into Hero Hub Hygiene, now that you have an idea of what kind of YouTube channel you can start, again, another small disclaimer. I keep saying YouTube, my session's name is Starting Your YouTube Channel, but understand that YouTube is a operative word, right? I would love, it's cool, right, to call yourself a YouTuber. Do so, right? But in essence, in your ethos, always remember that you are an original content creator, because going forward, you must be multi-platform. You have to have your presence on YouTube, on Facebook, which is declining, but still it's important, Instagram, TikTok, right? But there's one gospel truth to all of these platforms. Video is king, right? You heard Malinda talk about how you can monetize written content, which is amazing. You should, right? But the trend is increasingly going towards video, especially with our internet speeds going up. COVID has accelerated the penetration of internet, and we are becoming a generation of people who have a very short attention span, and we love video, right? Anyone on TikTok knows that. You can scroll up so fast that if the content is not engaging, you're out. So my point is, it's okay to identify yourself as a YouTuber. Think of YouTube as a platform, but always remember that you are an original content creator. So now that you understood your channel focus, before we go into planning your content, there's one key step that a lot of Sri Lankan YouTubers get wrong, right? That is how to name your channel. A lot of people get this wrong because they think that the channel name is, one, not important. Two, the channel name should be something that is very generic. Now, let's take travel, for example, right? In our Sinhala workshops right after this, Travel with Wife is there, right? They became very popular in their niche, right? But right now, the words travel with is extremely saturated, right? It's travel with everything. Travel with dog is also there, right? So travel with is completely saturated. So how do you stand out as travel YouTubers? So your channel name is very important. My biggest advice to you is, remember that your channel name becomes your brand, right? And your brand is something that an advertiser should view as advertiser friendly. Because a lot of YouTubers, as they start out, they forget that if I make this my full-time career, right, the money that I get from YouTube is going to be a very small chunk. Ask any big YouTuber, right? Chanel and Shahan was here, Malinda was here, right? Anyone, including Chanux, anyone that you speak to, they will tell you that their YouTube revenue, the money that they get directly from YouTube, amounts to about 30 to 20% of their overall income. The biggest chunk, close to 60 to 70% of their revenue, comes from direct sponsorships, product placements, product endorsements, right? In order for that big chunk of revenue to come to you, your channel name, right, and the type of content that you do needs to be channel advertiser friendly. So just because you're called Bunny or Baby or something like that at home, you know, art with baby or art with bunny might not be something that a big brand might want to associate themselves with. The same goes for slang, right? Any channel name that has slang might be viewed a little less lower than a brand that is more advertiser friendly from an advertiser. So do not make this grave mistake of naming your channel something that is not advertiser friendly, right? Now let's get down to the most important part of my presentation today: Hero, Hub, and Hygiene. Like I told you, when you're planning the content for your YouTube channel, you need to have a good balance of these three types of content, namely Hero, Hub, and Hygiene. Let's look at each of these content one by one as I explain to you what each and every one denotes and how you can do these three types of content. Sorry. Let's start with Hero, the most easiest to explain. Hero content is those videos that we call trending or viral in Sri Lanka. If you go to the YouTube trending list, which is no longer called the trending list, it's called the explore list, which I'm very happy, because the trending list used to be something that I abhorred, because most of the content is really bad, of ill taste and stuff that honestly shouldn't exist on a platform like YouTube, but it does, right? So these, it's called Explore tab, and for those who are watching, YouTube is slowly phasing out this whole trending list, because at the end of the day, it's not a competition to get views over someone else. That's not the point of a platform, a video platform like YouTube, right? Okay, so hero content are those videos that you upload on your YouTube channel that suddenly go viral, that suddenly get shared. I think while you were listening to Shehan and Chanel, they spoke of how they were uploading a lot of content, right? And then suddenly one video hit and that's it. Same goes for Kasun and Chamri of Travel with Wife. They were uploading content, but suddenly one video, the Diyaluma video, suddenly it got viewership, right? That's your hero content. How do you do a hero content? A lot of people ask this. Hi, how do I make a video that goes viral? It boils down to two things, right? Most would say sheer damn luck. I tend to disagree, right? One, your content obviously needs to be good, right? That's number one. Number two, the trick for one of your videos to become viral or trending is to piggyback on something that is already viral or trending. I know this is very simple, but a lot of people do not jump on this, right? For example, think about a topic that is being talked about in your audience segment right now, right? Now, let's say, for example, your audience is Sri Lankans, right? Right now, what is the most talked about topic in Sri Lanka, right? If you do content around that topic, since that keyword anyway has views, right? People are more inclined to click on a title that has that keyword. There is a high probability that your video will be a hero video. This is my little trick to you. So you must be an optimizational wizard, right? You must put your keywords. This is where extensive training would come in handy. So hopefully some of you would be selected for the 50 cohort, and you will go through more trainings to, fine tune how to make your SEO better. But as a rule, if you do content that is already viral and is already being talked about in society and online, right, there is a high probability of your content becoming viral. So hero content, even if you're really creative, right? If you look at my next slide, right? If you look, if you are doing hero content alone, right? Hero content, one thing you must remember is hero content, extremely viral and trending content, is only viral for that time. As you can see in my graph, hero content has a sudden peak, right? And the valley is equally sharp. Why is that? Generally, trending content, viral content is only viewed during that period of time. Take, for example, the Red Bull Stratosphere video that blew off, the top of YouTube when it was released on YouTube. But no one is watching that video right now. So similarly, if you are a YouTuber that is only focusing their content on hero content, suddenly in January you will upload a viral video, a trending video. It will suddenly peak your views, suddenly give you subscribers, suddenly get money. But February and March will be a beggar. Again, you will have to do another hero content to get that viewership up. It's not possible to sustain a YouTube career, a content creation career, if you're only doing hero content, right? So in that chart that you just saw in my slide, the vertical axis could be taken as views, subscribers, monetization, and the horizontal axis is time. So January, February, March, right? So hero content, like I told you, you cannot just do hero content and sustain a YouTube channel. The most important content next that we talk of is hub content. Sorry. Hub content, like I told you earlier, is your bread and butter. If you did that little exercise that I gave you, right? Hub content is what you talk about in your channel trailer and say, hi guys, I'm so and so. I'll be uploading a new video every Thursday. So hub content is your regular scheduled programming. You upload it. It doesn't give you the same viewership as hero content, but neither is it infrequent like hero content. In my chart, if you look at hub content, you can see that as the viewership of your hub video is going down, what happens? You upload another video the next week, the following week, right? So you can see a steady curve of viewership, subscribers, and money if you do hub content along with your hero content. So for hub content, again, there's not a lot of impetus to do it, and I think most of the YouTubers that will speak to you during this program will tell you, right? Especially at the beginning of your content creation journey, you will see that you'll always compare, right? You'll be like, oh my god, I uploaded a video, we put so much effort. I think Chanel and Shehan explained it amply, because when they came to me, right, they were putting so much effort, much more effort than a lot of YouTubers I knew at that point, right? But they were getting 1,000, 1,500, 3,000 views. That can be very discouraging, right? But remember that hub video that you upload, your regular scheduled programming is what's gonna make you become a full-time YouTuber one day. I give this exercise. I'm sorry, I need to drink a lot of water because I have a vocal cord issue that some of you know about. Anyway, so I tell a lot of my YouTubers to do this, and I give you guys this advice, right? Especially when you start out, right? Even if you have 100 subscribers, that's a lot. And how can you motivate yourself to do videos for 100 subscribers? What I say is visualize your subscriber base, or visualize the views that you get on your videos. Say you get 1,000 views, right? Visualize 1,000 people in the room that you are, right? 1,000 people is a lot, right? It's just that the internet has given us this impression that unless you get hundreds of thousands of views, you're not successful, right? Even if you are talking to 1,000 loyal subscribers or followers, that is a very important and a powerful thing. So in the beginning of your content creation journey, right, visualize your followers, engage with your followers. That will keep you motivated to break that threshold of 10,000 subscribers. I tell everyone, 10,000 is your mark, right? On YouTube, especially if you do content for Sri Lanka. 0 to 1,000 subscribers is the most hardest thing, right? Because the first 100, 200 will come from family and friends, right? 0 to 1,000 is very difficult. 1,000 to 5,000, it becomes a little easy. 5,000 to 10,000, it becomes a little bit more easier, right? 10,000 to 50,000 is nothing, right? So always remember that and work towards that goal. Visualize your audience, right? Okay, I digressed a little. Let's get back to content planning. So we talked about hero content. We talked about hub content. The third most important type of content that I think about 2% of YouTubers in Sri Lanka do is hygiene content. Hygiene content, in essence, is educational content. Educational content is very important, but there's not a lot of motivation to do it. Why? If you look at my graph, you can see hygiene content has the lowest of the wave, right? In most graphs that I show for workshops, this hygiene curve is almost a flat line. Why is that? Just because you upload an educational video, you don't suddenly get views, right? But YouTube terms these videos evergreen content. Educational content or hygiene content does not have an expiry date. YouTube uses the example of how to tie a tie, right? If you go to the internet, if you like, as long as humans are born and as long as we use ties, right? The video how to tie a tie will gain viewership. It'll gain viewership, it'll gain subscribers, it'll gain monetization, right? So educational videos are very, very important, right? Just because you upload an educational video, there won't be a big spike in your viewership or monetization, right? But it has the biggest longevity in terms of your videos, because YouTube is a funny game, right? Especially if you come from a very traditional background of media, right? Most of the time, sometimes since I work in traditional media, some people ask me, okay, this video or this teledrama or this music video, how much of revenue does it have, right? But I can only answer that question in this point of time, because that video is going to get viewership perpetually. As long as it's on YouTube, as long as people are watching it, you get revenue, right? So remember, hygiene content is very important, and a lot of people shy away from hygiene content, but please do hygiene content. based on the vertical that you're doing. A lot of people are like, I'm a musician, how can I do hygiene content, right? There are multiple ways of doing hygiene content for music, right? For example, now when Idea Health, when we handled musicians, right, we take one video and we break it into 6 or 7 types of content, right? Take for example, I'm just giving you this example from the music field, right? But you can apply this to almost anything. Even if you're a doctor, even if you're a pilot, whatever you are, you can apply this to your field, right? Take for an example, a musician. They can only do an original song every so often, right? So in my little graph of things, Hero Hub Hygiene, your original music video, right, is obviously a hero content. At least it should be. So how do you do hub and hygiene if you're a musician? Hub content could be vlogs, right? This is something that we encourage with most of our musicians. A musician is a personality, and on YouTube, people subscribe to personalities more than anything else, right? So your hub content as a musician could be your vlogs, your weekly vlogs, your behind the scenes footage of how you do a track. All of that could be hub content. And what could be your hygiene content? So hygiene content, for one musician that we worked with, we did this beautifully, right? The hygiene content is the guitar riffs for one of your new songs. So like I said, one piece of content could be broken down into many parts. Before you release the original music video, you could first release a lyric video. Then you could release your official music video. Then you can release dance covers, right? Then you can do hygiene content and teach people how to play the piano of that track, how to do the guitar riffs of that track. Likewise, there's a lot of content that you can make with one chunk of content. Sorry. So again, like I told you, when you're planning your video content, try and make all of these 3 content types, because a good mix of these 3 usually means that you have regular revenue, regular subscribers, because consistency is the name of the game. If all the YouTubers that I've spoken to thousands, right? And quite a few are successful now. And the one defining factor of those who made it versus those who didn't is just consistency. So remember my plan, my content plan, right? So you have an idea of where you need to start your YouTube channel, right? I gave you an understanding of how important the name of your YouTube channel is, and now I have given you your content plan. So if you do these 3 things, right, I think in practice it will be very helpful, especially for you to start off. Even if you currently do content, use these tools that I've given you today to fine-tune that content, because you are in this program for a reason. You want to become a successful original content creator, right? So that means that you are on the right path already, but try and do these things. And another big question I get asked is YouTube. For now, I only talk about YouTube, but please remember, you have to be multi-platform. Facebook monetization has come to Sri Lanka, so you can earn money off Facebook as well, right? So one key question I get asked, I'll close with this and go for questions, right? One key question I get asked is, apart from the IA, how do I tell my parents I'm going to become a YouTuber? I think right now there's enough information that original content creation is a viable source of income, especially it gets you dollars, so it's good, right? But one of the key questions I get asked is, is this a full-time profession? Can I make this my full-time profession? And my resounding answer to that is yes. And I have more than 30 to 40 YouTubers that I can quote and give as examples of those who have done it. But that big leap, that first leap, is very difficult. And I'll quickly share a small story, since I've been talking a lot. I'll quickly share a small story with you, right? Travel with Wife, Kasun and Chamari will be speaking in the Sinhala session, right? Their story, they've said this in Sinhala a lot of times, but I just realized that there's no English form of the story, so I guess I'll have to say it. Kasun was my photographer back at Derana, and they were doing video content. And once they came and showed, they used to get leave from me to go on their travels. I'm a boss that readily approves leave for travel. So Kasun came and showed me a video of one of their travels, and it's beautiful. The shots are amazing. cinematic shots, drone shots, all the beautiful shots, but the human quality of it was not there. The human element was not there. They were just taking cinematic stuff and uploading on their YouTube channel. So he just asked for some advice. So I gave them some advice, and one crucial thing was that they must start talking in their videos. So they were both shy, and most people refuse to believe it now that they've seen them on camera so many times, on video so many times. So they were both camera shy. So the next time Kasun came, he was going to Dialum, I believe, to apply for leave. I approved the leave on one condition, and that was that they both vlog, talk on camera, and then upload the video, right? So based on that threat, they went and did that video, and then they showed it. Before they were uploading, they were like, we are shit, we can't talk on camera, this is bad. They showed it to me, it looked quite good, and I encouraged them to upload it, right? They started their YouTube journey there, it blew off, you know where they are now. But another point in their career came where they were considering whether Kasun was leaving his full-time job to do content creation full-time or not. So again, it came to me where I threatened to sack him if he didn't leave. So finally, with that impetus, he left and started their content creation. And now everyone knows that both of them, including their baby, is a brand, right? So that's the leap that I think all of you, if you are interested in content creation, you'll have to take at some point, right? And as Sri Lankans, we are very risk averse. So don't be risk averse. That's my advice. You have a support system, especially if you're a part of Create Incubator. So start that content creation journey, and I think you're in the right place. I think I'll go for a small break, get your questions and answer them. Thanks. Hi guys, I have gotten your questions, so let's dig right into it. First one is, can I partner with multiple MCNs? Simple answer, no. Because generally when you roll up with one MCN, you are not able to monetize by yourself or with another MCN. So I don't think I need to go too much into detail. At any given time, you can only partner with one MCN. But okay, so if you're in the music business, right, there's a thing called a music MCN and a normal MCN, right? So for distribution, say for Spotify, iTunes, likewise, you can partner with a distribution partner. And for YouTube, you can have a different partner or an MCN. But on YouTube, you can have only one MCN. As a business person, can I start my own MCN? There are 260. YouTube has only given MCN status to about 266 entities. Currently, there are only about 156 active MCNs in the world. So it's less than the number of countries as well. So to get MCN multi-channel network to Sri Lanka, it was quite arduous, and you need to show a lot of things apart from the resources that you're going to give to creators as an MCN, the level of training that you have for your staff. All of that is taken into account when this MCN status is given, and I'm not aware of any MCN statuses being given since Idea Here got MCN status. So it's quite a difficult task, and I think a lot of people think that this MCN thing is like, you know, I've heard this saying also, you know, it's a print money button, right? It's not. It's a lot of work. It's something that you should get into if you are really wanting to help the content creator ecosystem in the country or the location you stay. So it's quite a journey, and I wouldn't recommend going down that path. But if you can, and there is a viable business model and a plan of helping creators through that MCN, I guess you can apply, but there's no easy way of getting it, right? Is there a minimum criteria to be met for monetization? Yes. Like I told you guys, you have to have 1,000 subscribers and you have to hit 4,000 watch hours. I think one thing I didn't mention is 4,000 watch hours for the last 12 months. What that means is Say you upload content into a channel this year, you get 4,000 watch hours, you get 1,000 subscribers, you get monetization, but for a whole year you don't upload any content, you will lose monetization status on that channel, right? So you need to keep uploading regular content to keep your monetization status. And like I told you, 4,000 watch hours is not a big deal if you have about 5,000 subscribers and you do regular content. Machang Janeeth, how do you really beat the mad saturation? It has been such a challenge. Sounds like Yasmin. Okay. Yes, saturation is a big problem. And I think in Sri Lanka, we have this horrible habit of replication and copying, right? If you start something new, someone doing that within the next 2 months is highly likely, right? So my advice is, like I said, have a really good plan, right? So if, say, for example, you're going to do something really unique in terms of video and YouTube, do about 5 videos at a stretch, right? And keep uploading that regularly, so that even if someone comes later on, right, you've still owned that niche, right? No one can say you didn't start it, or you were the pioneer who started it. So it's really difficult. I think there's no easy answer, right? There are creative ways of beating the saturation, but for me, I think if you keep uploading, again, consistency, if you keep uploading good content, right, and keep doing new things that others aren't doing, and like I said, have a good plan, because replication is not too far away, especially in terms of Sri Lanka. What happens if my channel is too broad with topics? Good question. It becomes a mess, right? So like I told you, now say today you upload a cooking video and I subscribe to your channel because I love cooking stuff. I always cook with my phone around because I watch recipes on YouTube, and I subscribe to your channel because you uploaded a cooking video, and next day you upload a dance video, right? And I get a notification and I'm like excited, oh wow, another cooking video. I go into it, it's a dance video. Then you end up losing your subscribers. So that's the problem with uploading, like having a very broad spectrum of content on one YouTube channel. So my advice is keep to one channel. So I'll give you one example. So Travel with Wife, they upload travel content, right? But once Chamri was expecting a baby and all of that, my advice to them was create a separate brand under her name for mothers and children content. That's something that they're doing now separately as a separate brand. If they had started putting children's content on Travel with Wife, that would have not been successful. So keep your genres, right? Don't try to be too broad. And see, most people ask, can't I be a personality channel on YouTube? You can be, right? But you need to be uploading a certain vertical, a certain genre, otherwise you will not get subscribers. Do you think, given the current situation, that it's a good time to invest solely in content creation? Absolutely. I know equipment is kind of expensive now, right? But I think again, Chanel and Shehan mentioned that what you have is generally enough to start your content creation. So especially in this current context, I've seen a huge surge in internet viewership in Sri Lanka. So if your audience is Sri Lankans, this is an amazing time to start doing content. And there's another myth going around that, especially with the current economic conditions in the country, that YouTube monetization, YouTube revenue is going down. Huge myth. Some of the biggest revenues I've seen came 2022 April, and it's continuing. So the highest earning months for almost all of the YouTube channels that I monitor, which is about 250, the revenue has been significantly high this year. So there's no impact on that. Especially if you have a international audience, then you shouldn't worry about it at all. Especially with the skyrocketing USD prices, it's a really good time to invest. And my personal philosophy is always, in adversity there's opportunity. So see the opportunities, right? A lot of content creators have stopped right now, which you shouldn't. COVID was the biggest blow to content creation in Sri Lanka. A lot of creators dropped off, right? So that saturation is a little less now. So it's a really good time to start content creation if you wanted to. Next question. What are the barriers? What barriers do we have to face when applying for monetization? Okay, what are the barriers for monetization? Okay, like I said, there's not a lot. You must hit that threshold. Okay, there's a huge barrier. Sri Lankans do not seem to understand that music has copyrights, right? So if you are uploading a background music track onto your video. You do beautiful videos and all of that, and you take a popular song of Justin Bieber and put it as a background track. Your video will be you'll get a strike, and on a channel that has a strike, monetization will not get activated, right? So copyrights are something that we as Sri Lankans have not been taught at a young age, that someone else's creation is theirs, and we should not pirate off it, right? So remember that music is a crucial area where I see a lot of Sri Lankan YouTubers get demonetized. So do not upload other people's music, right? There's a lot of copyright free music right now. There's a library of YouTube, but if that's too limited, there's a lot of copyright free music, royalty free music, and also there are a lot of artists who would give you rights if you genuinely and courteously ask them. And also there are a lot of Sri Lankan artists, especially Sri Lankan musicians, who would give it for a very small fee, and I think you would be helping the Sri Lankan music industry as well. So I would always encourage you to go local, right? And if you really don't have a budget, find royalty free music as your background tracks. What if the content that you are interested in creating is already done by a lot of creators out there? What factors can I make your content stand out and reach the right crowd and gain their interest? Okay, so you are talking about going into a vertical that is very saturated, right? So I don't think I have a magic pill for this, right? Always look at one tip I can give you is look at the type of content that you like to consume, right? Now if you go on YouTube, if you go on Instagram, if you go on TikTok, right, look at the content that's sticky for you, right, that you enjoy watching. Generally there's a small indicator that that's the content that you might be good at doing as well, right? This might not blanket apply, right? I love watching extreme sports, but if I go to do that, I might fail miserably, right? But there is a small chance that the type of content that you like to watch is the type of content that you're good at doing and the type of content that you would like to do. So even in a saturated field, right, look at the type of things that your eye goes to, right, and try and make it your own. And again, there's no magic pill. Look for new things that people have not done. And if you're targeting Sri Lankan, there are a lot of content verticals that Sri Lankan creators and YouTubers have not touched, but international creators have touched. So there might be certain things that you can do there. If I make my YouTube channel from Sri Lanka, can it reach a foreign audience? Good, very good question. There's a myth that if you create the channel in Sri Lanka, that the YouTube algorithm will only show your videos to Sri Lankans. This is a myth. YouTube algorithm works on how it's called it's a thing called CTR. I think Malinda touched on it a little before me, right? To what audience your videos are shown is based on what kind of audience is already clicking on your videos, right? On YouTube, a lot of people forget that it's not a social media network. It's a video platform. There's no social effect. How you see content is if it's suggested to you by YouTube, or if you see it on your YouTube homepage. To get there, you have to get the right audience clicking on your thumbnail. And that's where your thumbnail game and your title game needs to be on point, because even if your video is amazing and your thumbnail is shit, no one's going to click on your video. That automatically makes your CTR or your click-through rate go down. Click-through rate is no magic. Click-through rate is out of 100 people, if 10 people click on your thumbnail, you would have a CTR of 10%, right? So the higher the CTR, the higher your impressions, the higher your monetization. But the 10 people that actually click on your thumbnail, YouTube automatically thinks, okay, this is the kind of audience that this video is good for, and it will keep suggesting that video to that same audience profile. So the myth that if you create the video if you create the channel in Sri Lanka, it doesn't reach an international audience is false. I think Shehan and Chanel are a testament to that. The majority of their subscribers are not from Sri Lanka. So there's no problem. If you create the channel from Sri Lanka, you can still reach an international audience. But like I told you, I think I again went into something else. The CTR is the most important aspect of YouTube, and your viewership, your everything is dependent on your thumbnail and your title. Right, guys, I think I've gone a little above also. I can keep talking. There's a lot of things that we can go into exhaustive topics on. But I think Create Incubator, if you're selected for the 50 cohort this time, we will be having in-person trainings and we can go into this far more in depth. And thank you for tuning in. And I hope you learned something. Like I told you, if you want to start your content creation journey now, start it. If you're discouraged about it, don't be. This is the best time for you to start, and I think there's a lot of potential in it for especially Sri Lankans. Thank you and have a good afternoon.